On this episode of the Infinite Loop Show, we'll talk about the new OS 10.
Wait, what?
That's right, a new OS 10 is coming.
No, Casey, there isn't. That's not until next year.
No, they just announced it yesterday.
No, that was the BlackBerry OS 10, not Mac OS 10.
Oh, well then who cares? Here goes the new Infinite Loop Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Infinite Loop Show, episode number 36. I am Michael Gaines.
And I'm Casey Coughlin.
So today, I'm listening to Tech News Today, and I look up from what I was doing, and they were talking about BlackBerry OS 10, but they kept saying OS 10, and it was throwing me off.
I've had the same exact feeling I think it's been 12 or so years now that OS 10 has been synonymous with Mac OS 10. And so you could just say OS 10 and people know, okay, yeah, Mac,
Sure.
not BlackBerry.
So I don't understand how they're able to get away with this, but they are, and we don't care. But we're here to talk about Macs. Are we here to talk about Macs?
And iPhone 5.
Oh, your iPhone 5. Let's get to the news. All right. How many iPhones did Apple sell?
Just over 5 million. But
Only
that's it.
5 million. That's it. I mean,
it's really not, impressive or anything. Just the most iPhones that have ever been sold ever.
You know, Samsung wishes that they had people lining up at their stores. They don't even have stores, but lining up for their phones.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why that they have these commercials where they treat Apple people like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, it's okay that we don't have lines because lining up is lame.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to do that. You're just a bunch of sheep. So who cares if people line up because we don't have lines? So it's not cool.
So, yeah, if the commercials are effective, then Apple sheep will become Samsung sheep, and then we'll all just be sheep. Stupid,
Yeah.
right? Stupid commercial. So, anyway, yeah, they sold 5 million iPhone 5s in a weekend.
Yeah.
And
that's only counting in-store sales, not counting pre-orders, because I guess in their estimates, Apple actually can't count pre-orders. They can only count in-store sales. And so only 5 million. Obviously, they were saying with the pre-orders a week prior that they did, 2 million pre-orders? And so based on those estimates, that's why a lot of like Piper Jaffray and such were saying that before Apple announced their numbers that they were probably going to be like, I heard 6, I heard 8, I heard 10 million, in the early estimates. But then Apple released this number of 5 million, and so everybody, of course, goes, oh, that's it? That's all you sold? Oh, that's so unimpressive, even though it's like over twice as many as the iPhone 4S did.
And, all right, so now we get to knock out Samsung. They get the knockout sound. Bam.
Indeed. Apparently, they probably could have sold a hell of a lot more.
Oh, sure.
But supply chains were saying that this time around for the 5, there are actually less supplies in the supply chain than with the 4S launch.
Mm-hmm.
So even though demand was actually higher now this time around for the 5 than the 4S, they had fewer supplies, so all the stores sold out. Had they, had more phones to sell, they probably would have sold a hell of a lot more. Apparently, there's a bit of a problem making the screens. Both LG and Sharp are making screens, but this time around they have the, I guess, the touch sensor and digitizer and the glass are all one piece, and so that's a little bit of a complicated process. And LG was really kind of lagging in this getting screens out, and so I heard that Sharp was ramping up productions to kind of make up for that. So hopefully a lot more iPhones will get into the chain because I know everybody and their mother still want one.
I went to Best Buy that night Friday night to look for lightning cables and a case for my iPhone 5. And I went there at 7:30ish at night, and there were still people online waiting for their phones. And the girl that I talked to, I asked her if they had lightning cables. She was opening the little cabinet door where they kept all the phones, and they had like tons of phones.
Oh,
So it's not like there was a short supply. It's just like there's so many people. And of course, when you go to a place like Best Buy, you can't just buy the phone. They have to deal with the whole contract and everything like that. So that's probably what was taking so long. But the fact that people were still waiting at 7:30 was...
I went into an Apple store Sunday morning, and there was a small line outside the store Sunday morning. People were still lining up to get their stuff.
Unbelievable.
But yeah.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the phone itself. Do you love the thing?
I do. It's, of course, I mean, I don't know. People are going to say, oh, you're just a fangirl. You'd love it anyways. You know, they could put out a piece of poop and you'd love it.
No.
But it really is. Like, it's been getting incredible ratings across the board from Gadget.com, Engadget, The Verge. Everybody's rating it like the best smartphone right now. It's definitely, I think, the fastest smartphone out right now. It's light, it's thin, it's incredibly sexy. Like, just the hardware design. Apple, you know, as you know, Apple just does an amazing job with hardware. That's their bag. That's what they do.
It's their bag, baby.
Every time, you know, they just, when you think like this is the most beautiful, like, sculpted thing they've made, they put out an even better one.
Now, can you touch your phone to the back of another iPhone and have people say, ooh, what are you doing?
No, but I don't know that I'd want to do that anyways. That
course,
just seems like a silly thing. Like, why do I have to, like, go walk over to you and touch phones together? Why can't I just sit here and then you sit, like, wherever, like if I was at work, and I'll just beam it to you over this magical thing called Wi-Fi.
The internet. Well, see, that's one of the flaws in the commercials. That the Samsung commercial has two guys bumping the backs of their bumping the backs of their phones, and then the people online are like, ew, what are you doing? Oh, I just sent my buddy a playlist. I'm thinking,
oh, I know, I could never send stuff before.
I know, I can't send stuff to your friends over email or text messages or anything like that. So, dear God, let me run and get a Samsung Galaxy S3 right now because I can do that. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. But I love the phone for what it is. First off, you're gonna make fun of me. I know it. I know the first thing out of your mouth is gonna be something snarky. But I want my belt clip and I can't find one. No, you're not gonna say anything.
That's cool, man.
I tried. Everyone,
you want to clip it next to your beeper? That's cool.
No, I tried using this thing in my pants pocket, and the problem is that in my jeans it's fine.
Probably would have better luck using it if you took it out of your pocket, but
no, I have my keys in one pocket. I have my cash and my change in another pocket, my wallet in my back pocket. So this thing, it's like, well, where does it go? It can't go with the keys because it'll get scratched. It can't go with the change because it'll get scratched. Don't want to keep it in my back pocket.
That's always been the case, though. Since the Fuller came out with the glass bag, that's always been the case.
I want my belt clip. That's why I couldn't find one. But anyway, the thing is light as hell. This thing is, like 1.3 ounces lighter than the iPhone 4?
Yeah, it's under an ounce. It's like 0.8 or something ounces.
So, all right, 0.8 ounces difference. Okay, this thing.
Oh no, not the difference. Like the actual weight of the 5. I think it's 0.8 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
This thing is amazingly fast.
Yeah, the LTE is super fast. I kept telling people, don't expect great things. Trust me, I have an iPad 3 with LTE. It's not that fast. It's not that big of an upgrade. It's not a big deal. It's probably going to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
This iPhone kicks the ass of my iPad with LTE. Why is that? They got the same processor and the same RAM, and it's the same network. I don't understand, but it is so much faster on the phone.
I don't know. LTE here in Jersey, I was getting, was it 28 down and 15 up, I believe it was. Whereas on my Wi-Fi, which is 802, oh, see, now I didn't check. I've got the standard Verizon box.
Speed test. Yeah, I forgot to even do a speed test on this.
Yeah,
puppy.
on my standard Verizon Wi-Fi, I was getting 16 down and like 8 up or 12 up or something ridiculously slow. So now I'm thinking I'm going to have to change my router to an 802.11n. You can.
What do you have now?
I'm just using the standard Verizon router, the Wi-Fi router.
That's N.
Is it? Because I'm getting crappy speeds off of it.
I'm pretty sure that's an N.
I haven't touched it since I got it. But either way, I was at Best Buy that time on Friday night when I went to Best Buy, and I'm looking stuff up on my phone. And I had been to Best Buy many times before, and I look up something on my phone over 3G, and it's incredibly slow. And I thought for a second that I was on their Wi-Fi, but the little indicator said LTE. It was that fast.
Yeah.
So
I just did a speed test on mine on the LTE. 17 down.
Nice.
The iPad gets about 10 down on LTE.
Yeah, on LTE should be better than that.
It should. That's why I was kind of bummed when I got the iPad, thinking this is going to be faster than my Wi-Fi, and it wasn't. Like it made me sad. But this is fantastic.
Sad panda. Other things. I've noticed that there aren't a lot of apps that were updated for the screen. I know for myself, I'm still struggling a little bit with a good, proper way of doing that. I did find something, so I'm just going to have to implement it, but it's not as easy as when you just went to an iPad screen. Xcode would say, well, what size iPad screen would you like? Here's your zip. There you go. Nope, knock yourself out. This you have to do programmatically, and I hate doing things programmatically in certain ways. But that's okay, because it's not a big deal. Maps. Can we talk about maps?
I guess we should.
Maps is the big problem. I found in my area there were places that were spelled wrong. I did a search today for some place that I had to go. I knew exactly where I was going to go, but I just wanted to see what would show up on maps. So I type in the name of the store, and it didn't show me the one that I wanted to go to. It showed me 2 that were in my area in like a 30-mile radius, but not the one that was even closer. And it was wrong. And we've seen the picture. Well, tell everybody about the Tumblr account that's out there.
All right. So if you haven't seen this already, whether you agree or not that iOS 6 Maps is, failing, this is just a fantastic blog to get a good laugh at. It's called the Amazing iOS 6 Maps.tumblr.com. And it's just a gallery of screenshots of, failings, inconsistency, melty pictures of maps. And yeah, the major complaints, things being wrong, maps not finding stuff, stuff being spelled incorrectly, and then obviously the 3D satellite images just being really either melty or just like stitching weird things together. I saw a picture of
timey-wimey,
like a barge like melded into a bridge, and just bizarre looking stuff.
I'm gonna switch the video over while we talk about this, because I can do that now. So this is it's the Amazing iOS 6 Maps.tumblr.com, and then we just put this into the window so people can see it. So yeah, it basically shows all these mistakes. I'll just zoom into the I'll zoom into the camera twist. It shows all these mistakes, and it's just amazing how bad everything looks.
Yeah, and I found that, and there are reports that kind of confirm that it's far worse outside of the U.S. Like in Europe and Germany, things get drastically worse. Either blurry resolution on the satellite images, or just tiles not even showing up, or everything's in black and white for some reason.
Old data, like ancient satellite data.
Yeah, like from the very first satellite.
Yeah, the very first satellite. Yeah, I'm showing pictures here. I mean, no results found. Oh, accurate IFixit map. There's one here of it's supposed to be of a bridge, and it shows. It looks like it's about a mile west of where the bridge actually is.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible what happened. So here's the thing. Apple said that they're going to continue to work on this. Okay, fine.
Yes.
I believe that. Now, the story goes that Apple had a year left on their contract with Google for Maps.
Yeah.
And Google said that they wanted Apple to implement. Well, I've been hearing conflicting things. One is that Google wanted Apple to implement Latitude, and Apple didn't want to. But that I haven't confirmed. What I did read today.
That is weird because there's a standalone iOS app for Latitude.
Sure, but you don't have to use it.
No, I guess it's true. But even like if it was attached to Maps, I'm sure there would be like an on-off switch.
Perhaps. Either way, the other thing that I read today is that Google did not want to give turn-by-turn directions to Apple because they wanted to keep that close to themselves for Android.
Which is retarded.
But yeah. So that's the reason why Apple decided to roll their own. And so this is what we have. Could things have been worked out? I seem to think that things could always be worked out. But if you've got a case where you have two stubborn companies, because I'm not absolving Apple of any fault here. If you've got two stubborn companies and they can't come to terms, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Put it this way: if Google gave up turn by turn to Apple, would that really have hurt Android? I don't think so.
No, but really, so everybody once, the word got out that Google Maps wasn't going to be in iOS 6, and people actually started using it. There came, I guess now it was kind of a rumor, but I was under the impression that it was like solid fact at the time that Google was making a standalone Google Maps app for iOS.
Yeah.
And so everybody kept saying, "Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's being held up, by Apple in the submission process." I think it was yesterday, Eric Schmidt came out and said, "No, it's not being held up because we're not making a Maps app." Which was kind of a surprise to everybody, going, why wouldn't you be? That's kind of like a huge opportunity. You could like charge $9.99 for this app and people would gobble it up. But apparently this argument where Apple still had a year left on their agreement and then bailed early, I guess kind of surprised Google. So I heard another story saying that Google was kind of scrambling, that they are creating an iOS app, but it's so early in the process because they were just kind of caught unaware by this that they don't want to say anything because it's really, it's like months, down the road that it might be released.
And here's
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that, Eric Schmidt is trying to say that they're not working on one, but there's plenty of reports now saying that they are working on one, but it's so early in the process, it's kind of on the down low. But also, like, if he's saying that Schmidt, when he said that yesterday that they weren't in this interview, that they weren't making a iOS Maps app, kind of said, I don't know why Apple wouldn't keep using our Maps app. Like, we would have liked that to have happened, continue. And I guess it's their bad and they're kind of dumb for dropping us. It's not our fault. But then, you hear, like you said, that other story where Apple left because they couldn't get turn by turn. Like, it just sounds like Google's trying to have its cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Well, I think that what's going to happen is that within a few weeks, if not months, we'll know the whole story. Right now, we're just getting it in pieces. There's got to be a lot more political stuff going on.
Oh, I'm sure.
Between the whole Android versus iOS thing. Of course, you've got Google versus Apple. I tried maps.google.com today for the first time, and I liked it. But
the phone?
On the phone. So you can run maps from
in the browser
on Safari on the iPhone 5. And it worked almost perfectly. The thing that it didn't do was it didn't keep up with me while I was driving. That was the only thing that it didn't do, and it bugged me a little bit. It's like, well, why can't it do that? I did some reading. I did a Google search for it, and I came up with actually nothing. I came up with a bunch of API questions. So of course, I refined my search. I still haven't come up with anything. So I don't know if Google Maps is, because it keeps track of your dot of where you're moving. So why can't it keep the maps updated with your position? I don't understand that. I looked for some settings. I couldn't find anything. But
Because the tiles are too large and take too long to load?
it shouldn't be. The tiles should be the same size, whether or not they're coming off of an app or whether or not they're coming off of a browser. It's still the same.
Well,
amount
even
of
in
data.
the app, like when we had the Google Maps app, that was kind of a thing I noticed with the new Maps app, that the tiles, because they're vector, loaded way quicker.
Yes, they
and
did.
they keep up with you because they load quicker. The Google Maps tiles, are kind of notorious for being really big and being scaled down. So especially if you were moving in the car, a lot of times I had noticed it wouldn't keep up with you. So I don't think that's just relegated to the browser. I
Right.
think that was always a thing.
Yeah. So I don't know, but anyway, it's a good alternative and it works. And Google said that within 2 weeks they're going to have Street View on the browser version, and I'm looking forward to that. I don't use Street View very often, but when I do use it, I need it because I want to know exactly where I'm going. Usually, I just need an address, and
I
that
don't
should be
always
it.
use Street View, but when I do,
I need it. Boy, other than that, I'm very, very happy with this phone. The Lightning connector, it just snaps right in fine. And I have been reading some technical things. I didn't want to bore everybody with the technical aspects of it, but there's one thing that I wanted to say is that I found that the pins are dynamically allocated. So like when you switch them back and forth, it knows that it should switch like maybe pin 2 and pin 7, depending on whether or not you put it in upside down.
I
Yeah,
see.
they're dynamically assigned.
So that's how it's reversible.
Yeah, and there's some other really cool things that go on with that. But I was pretty impressed with what I've read so far. But
Nice.
yeah, very nice. The Lightning port I think is going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Apple just had to bite the bullet, piss a lot of people off first, but in the long run, it's going to be way worth it. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's no more like the data transfer speed." Some people were thinking, "Oh, that's going to be faster," and now we know it's not. It's still the same USB 2.0 speed, and so people are like, "Why the hell did they do this?" Well, it's better in the long run since it's all digital and dynamic and really, I mean, I like it better. It's reversible. It feels more snug when you plug it in. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna break off some like the little board that was in the 30-pin dock connector port.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people when I was in Geek Squad would chip that little board inside, and so that wouldn't actually connect. It wouldn't make a solid connection. They'd have to replace the entire phone because of that. That's not the case with the iPhone 5. There's no little board in there, to break off or anything like that. So it's just better all around.
There are some other strange oddities that I've seen with the phone. Some people were complaining that the Sapphire lens cover was creating like a purple hue in their pictures, and sure enough, it happens on my phone.
See, but that's okay. That's for Apple. That's a feature. It's for like mood setting, like so you don't
The
have to put
iPhone mood
Vaseline
watch.
on the end. You can just have this purple hue, and everything looks sexier. That's a feature.
The iPhone is a mood watch. I love that.
I haven't seen this on mine yet. But,
Okay, so here's how you test it. This is what I did. I take my phone. I was going to show it on video, but it really doesn't show up well.
yeah, I don't think it.
Well, I could make it happen, but you can't really see it. I have these LED lights, these new LED lights above me, and so you don't point the phone directly at the lights. What you got to do is you got to get sort of like a lens flare off of it, and you'll see the purple hue. And so it does happen. I haven't tested it outside.
it comes up in a lens flare, like I have to call BS on this because it seems like you're gonna get a lot of different colors with you when you get a lens flare.
Well, if you look at no, I didn't put the link in, but there's a website that actually shows a whole bunch of different pictures with it's a distinct purple lens flare. It's not just a bunch of different colors. It's
See,
very
it's a
very
sexy
purple.
lens flare.
It's a sexy
Again,
lens
that was done on purpose. People were complaining that they only got white lens flare, so now you get a purple lens flare.
Iceworm,
God, people are just never happy.
Iceworm in the chat room asks, "Are you J.J. Abrams?" With the lens flares.
Yeah.
So
Lens flares, and in the next update, you'll get explosions as well.
I haven't tested this yet on like outside pictures or anything. I just saw this, and there was another problem that I found is that when you use the iPhone 5 and Google Hangouts, is myself and I've seen two other people have this problem. The camera works fine, except it does this bizarre thing where it puts this like it's almost like an inverse of the top 16th of the height of the video frame on the bottom, like an inverse picture. And then it takes yeah, like Langley was testing this. So Langley has glasses on, and you could see the sort of like the outline of his glasses shifted down about a quarter of an inch. And then one other person came in and hang out with that, and the exact same thing, the exact same problem.
Weird.
So I don't know if that's an app problem or what. Probably an app problem, because I don't know how the data is getting to the app, and I don't know how the data is going from the app to the server. So I don't know, but that's another issue. That'll be fixed, I'm sure.
They'll fix it in post.
That's true. So overall, you love the thing?
I do.
Yeah, I do too.
It's super fast. It's super slick. The screen it looks even better than the 4 and 4S. You know, it's not any higher resolution, but I think it seems brighter and more, like the color is more saturated.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Geekbench scores actually beat the Galaxy S3. The dual-core A6 beat the Galaxy S3 quad-core.
Yeah, I did a Geekbench score on my 4S before I upgraded, and it got a score of like 400 and something. And then I just did one on the 5, and it's 1,245.
Yeah, which
like
is
3 times the score.
the highest score I've seen, the highest Geekbench score I've seen for the iPhone 5, I think was like 1630.
See, why is it getting different scores? That's weird. It's the same hardware and everything.
I don't know. I don't have it, so I haven't been able to test it. So I think is that all we have for the iPhone 5 as far as what we think about it? I think that's it.
Well, you okay? Now, you're on Verizon, right?
No, I'm on AT&T.
Oh, I totally thought you were on Verizon. Because apparently all the Verizon iPhone 5s are actually unlocked.
Yes, they are, and they can't be relocked due to FCC regulations. So good for you, people.
So you guys, you can take your SIM out and go to Europe and do things.
I think that's great. I really do.
No, it's awesome. I wish the AT&T one was unlocked, but so you can literally any Verizon one. You can even take an AT&T nano SIM and put it in a Verizon phone. So crazy.
I think this whole locking thing has got to go in the United States. I understand why we do it, but damn, the Europeans have it so much better than we do.
Yeah,
they do. I don't know why. And that was one of the things that I thought that Apple and Google were going to help get rid of when the first Nexus came out.
It must be much harder than we think it is. You know, I think the carriers in the U.S. overall, just it's a huge cluster F.
Yes, it is. And the thing is that the carriers are going to get their money one way or the other.
Yes. Right? We're not going to not have cell phones. We're not going to stop paying for service.
Right.
So, like, you don't have to treat us like crap and, you know.
Let me see. There were riots at the Foxconn factory.
Yeah, this weekend.
Did you read why? Because I found an article that said why it happened.
seemed like was reading the article about it briefly on TUAW, and it seemed like it was over working conditions, long hours. It was one of the main iPhone 5 production factories, and it sounded like it was the long working hours, a lot of overtime, not getting breaks, just a
Yeah.
lot, a lot of that. And so they started rioting, throwing, machinery and stuff around, and just
I
destroying
I
stuff.
read that the two groups that were fighting were from two different production lines, and here I'm thinking, okay, so the Samsung Galaxy 3 commercial comes out, and all of a sudden we've got Foxconn riots from two different assembly lines. I think that what happened is that someone from one assembly line called someone on the other assembly line, their mother something, and all of a sudden we had a your mama fight.
Right, because we all know how popular Yo Mama jokes are in China.
You never know; they could be.
Yeah, so I like to think that the iPhone 5 production line was fighting the Galaxy S3 production line.
I know.
And
Just goofing around with that. iFixit has their iPhone 5 teardown, which was so impressive.
well, they always are. They are just they nail this every time.
Yeah. Overall, they gave the iPhone 5 a 7 out of 10 as far as fixability, whereas they gave
Yeah.
the iPad 3 they gave like a 1.
Yeah, something horrible.
So they said basically what they said is this: if you want to replace the screen, you still have to get the driver for the screws on the bottom and a
Yeah.
suction cup for the screen itself. And they said other than that, that's pretty much it. It's so much easier to replace the screen on this new phone than it was on the 4 and the 4S. Everything
Yeah,
else,
yeah, it's a lot more repairable.
yeah, everything else I really don't give a rat's ass about. I just want to know what happens if my screen dies. So they were talking about how like the lightning connector was practically impossible to change out.
Oh,
So things like that, I can understand that. I mean, you've got all the
yeah, a little
pins and
bit.
you're when you're
But I
working on
guess,
something. What?
oh, I was just gonna say overall, there's a lot more parts screwed in as opposed to glued or soldered in like previous iPhones and the iPad. That was a big problem with repairability. Um, so, A, yes, they come out with a new screw, so you have to buy a new screwdriver. But B, most of the parts are screwed in, so it's much, much easier to repair, with the sole exception of little things like the lightning uh, connector. But most things, and especially the screen, which is probably the biggest thing for most people.
All right, let's move on to rapid fire. And it's not playing because I have to set the master volume.
That was rapid.
You can order iPhone 5 for in-store pickup on Apple.com from only 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yep.
Okay, I guess this is so they know what their inventory is?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day at the Apple Store, and they said this started on Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Or no, Monday night. I apologize. Monday night was the first night because all weekend you couldn't order off the website. You had to go into the store, and if you called them, they wouldn't even tell you what the stock was. You had to physically go to the store, wait in line till you can find out if they had the phone you wanted, which was kind of a bummer. But in any case, so starting Monday night, you can order on the website for in-store pickup, making you able to see what each store has in stock.
Yeah.
This is because they actually get shipments in every night. Small ones, but they still get shipments in
Okay.
every night. So you have kind of first dibs of the new inventory. And usually by about noon of each day, they'd sell out completely. When I went into the store yesterday evening, there was a big sign saying, we're completely sold out. And then I asked somebody, and they said, oh, yeah, you can order for in-store pickup tonight from only 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. within that window. And I was like, well, if you're sold out, how does that? And so he said, yeah, we get shipments. And so you pretty much have first dibs on that one. But you still have to go through the whole, carrier process, select a carrier, check your eligibility. If you're on a corporate account like I am for AT&T, my number's on a Premier corporate account. They don't deal with corporate accounts.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's really kind of a letdown. They only deal with like personal family accounts.
Yeah.
So,
You
boo.
have to talk to Bob in the back if you want to deal with that. No.
Give my fingerless gloves.
What do you have here? iPhone 5's rating?
Yeah, so I mentioned this briefly at the top of the show in the news, but right now it's iPhone 5 is rated the best smartphone ever on various sites, like I said, and also the fastest smartphone out today.
Yep.
So take that to Galaxy S3.
That's right. As per Geekbench and a whole bunch of other tests. So,
Well, yeah, tests and also, a lot of reviews are putting it just, overall, hardware, software. Obviously, if you're just concentrating on maps, it's not the best ever, but overall.
Yeah, but there's more to it than that. It's not just scores. It's a whole bunch of what's the word I'm looking for? The culture and of everything. I mean, for me, that's why
it's all about job creation and
no, not job creation. Like I can use my phone on my airport devices. Like I could send the audio to a bunch of different airport devices. Can't do that on Android.
Well, no, that's because of the Apple ecosystem too.
Yeah. So that's why I like. iFixit gives you Retina iPhone wallpapers. This is nice. And that reminds me, I have a bunch of iPhone wallpapers that I created years ago for their video game wallpapers. And so I'm going to have to update them for both Retina iPhone 4 and the taller iPhone 5.
Indeed.
Yeah. I know several people that are still using mine. I was like, oh, look, still using my wallpapers. I like that. Yeah, I have a bunch of, they're all classic video game wallpapers like Marble Madness and Phoenix and Pitfall and things like that. Yeah. So I had this idea years ago. What?
We should link to those on Nexicon.
Yes, I think I will do that.
Maybe.
Call of Duty Black Ops is coming to Mac OS X on September 27th. I did not see this coming.
Yay.
Well, I know you're not a big first-person shooter fan, but I just think that the fact that Call of Duty Black Ops is coming to the Mac is a big deal.
No. Yeah, more games the better. I mean, we seriously need more of this because if there's one huge criticism you can always level against the Mac, it's gaming.
Sure.
That doesn't do gaming, that there's no games for the Mac, that they only come out years later. That's always, kind of been the case. And now we're seeing a lot of companies kind of reverse that, or at least, either come out sooner or same day, like Blizzard has always done.
Yeah.
Launch, for both platforms. So, I mean, really, there's no reason why the Mac wouldn't be good for gaming. If it's great for video production, photography, high-end graphic stuff, gaming is right there. Why wouldn't we be able to game on, the Retina MacBook Pro?
Totally agree. All right, let's move on to culture. Apple came out with 4 or 5 commercials?
4, I think. Thumb, physics, cheese, and ears.
Was there a separate one for the EarPods?
Yeah, that's ears is just the ear pod commercial.
Okay.
But they've kind of gone back to their old style of commercials, totally covered up and buried those genius commercials like they never happened, thank God. And they have these new pretty white commercials narrated, oddly enough, by Jeff Daniels of The Newsroom.
All right, we're going to watch one of them right here. This is the physics one.
There are laws to physics, right? So explain this. How can something get bigger and smaller? There's more of it and less of it? Well, I guess the laws of physics are more like general guidelines.
Cute.
I like it.
I like it too. Apple's back to their groove, and yes, those old commercials, the Genius commercials, were just embarrassing as hell.
Yeah, agreed.
Again, it just didn't like them at all. So,
No.
All right, let's move on to apps. What apps do you have for us this week, Casey Queso?
So I downloaded after I got on my new phone and was playing around with Passbook, which is a disappointing thing right now at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I found this app on the App Store called Lemon Wallet, which kind of does what Passbook is supposed to right now. You can create a free account or you can create a paid account, but I don't know what the paid account does. And you literally take pictures of the front and back of any card in your wallet,
Okay.
and then it puts it in a virtual wallet in this app. So you can have everything from like a, train or airplane ticket to your driver's license.
Okay.
One thing you can have, like I was saying, every card possible. So like if you, I don't know, lose your driver's license or lose like a debit card, you have a picture of like both the front and the back of it, so you can still charge stuff
if you want.
I thought it was a cute little app, and
no, really, officer, this is really my driver's license. It's
yeah,
not shopped at all.
No, totally. This is totally legal. What?
Yeah, try getting into bars with that when you're underage.
Yeah, right. I'm totally not condoning this for underage drinking.
Yeah, I know. No, I have tried things like that. I think the one that I had before was called CardStar, or there's CardStar and there was something else. And the problem that I had with those is that they weren't read by the bar scanners.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There was another one that was specifically for like store club cards.
Yes.
And you entered in the number under the barcode and it would put it in the app, and then so whenever you needed it, it brought up the barcode on the screen, and you were supposed to be able to, slide it over the register's red laser.
Yeah.
Never freaking work on glass. Just silly. But this doesn't do that. It doesn't bring up barcodes or anything like that. And obviously it's not meant to be scanned or anything. It's just kind of meant for you to like look, and so like I don't know, if you're ordering, you can see what your credit card number is and the 3-digit dealie on the back.
The one that I have this week is Google Plus app. I absolutely love this app, the new version. I was pretty much against it because so many people were complaining about it, but when I got the new phone, I updated it so that I can start Hangouts and things like that. And I've really gotten to be in love with this app. I really, really like it. The way that it organizes all the data. There's one thing that sort of irks me just a teeny little bit, is that when you're scrolling up, it does this bizarre sort of zoom in to the pictures of the people that are posting things, and it gets a little annoying after a while. It's like after the first few, it's like, wow, it's kind of cool. And then after like 20 or 30 of them, it's like, all right, just scroll the damn pictures. The zooming animation is just getting on my nerves. But other than that, I think it makes the Google Plus experience on the iPhone very, very good. And
well, yay.
Yeah, and yay. All right, we done?
We are done. Until next week, folks, you can email us at theinfiniteloopshow.com. Sure. infiniteloopshow@gmail.com. We are The Infinite Loop on Facebook, on the Google+. We are Infinite Loop TV at Twitter. I am at Casey Queso.
And I am at Star Mike.
All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.